why do you support Donald Trump?
Well, I think I definitely support his foreign policy. His policy in the Middle East has been one of the biggest reasons why I support him.
Like what specifically?
What specifically? Well, when I look at this prior administration, I think the Abraham Accords were really significant. And it's really more about what Biden did, which was awful in the Middle East, in my opinion. And I
Okay.
like what he's doing currently as well.
Okay. Like in terms of the Abraham Accords, what do you think we got from the Abraham Accords that was so unique?
What do you mean unique? I mean, what we achieved from the Abraham Accords and what the intent behind it was to build a group of nations in opposition to Iran, which is the biggest threat to U.S. in the Middle East.
Okay, so you're saying that the whole point of the Abraham Accords specifically was to build a coalition against
Yes,
Iran. Where's that
exactly.
coalition now?
Where's the coalition now? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was slightly derailed by October 7th. I will concede that point, but it's currently, I mean, if you look at what's happened recently with Iran, literally every single country except for Iran and its proxies have been supporting Israel and actually intercepting rockets, right? So I think the coalition's pretty strong.
Okay. So you agree with America fighting wars on behalf of Israel?
Well, it's not just on behalf of Israel, it helps us too. But I
Oh,
mean, the reality of foreign
wait,
policy
wait,
is
wait,
that
wait. Wait,
we have
I have a question. Here's a real question. Do you support the US defending Ukraine?
Yeah, I do.
You
I
do?
don't support Trump's policy in Ukraine. I've been very against it. So, but that's another thing.
I have a question. Have I talked to you before?
I
Many
think a long
times?
time ago.
Many
A long
times?
time
How
ago.
long ago?
I don't know the date. I think it was maybe like 4 or 5 months ago.
4 or 5 months ago? Why hasn't your mind changed?
Why isn't my mind? What do you mean? Why isn't my mind changed?
Yeah. What
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 do you
what what
mean?
what conversation do we have?
I don't really remember.
You don't
I
remember?
think it was about Israel and Palestine, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so are you a Zionist?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So your mind's likely not to change because you're a Zionist. You're gonna have the same conversation now. You know what? I've already had a conversation with you. Have a good day, man. And why do you support Donald Trump?
I think abortion's demonstrable.
Okay. I have a question. Is abortion worse than the Holocaust? Like abortion the last 20 years in this country, is that worse than the Holocaust?
Um, no, I wouldn't say so.
No. Okay. So then clearly you don't value like them as people, right?
I do. I
Okay.
don't
Well,
really see
well,
how that falls.
wouldn't you say that more people dying would be worse?
No, not necessarily.
No.
I don't view it by utilitarianism.
Okay. Wait. How do you view it?
I kind of support by its deontological value,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. There's still, even from a deontological perspective, we're talking about the
Mhm.
number of rights violations. There are more rights violations.
Yeah, but
That's from a
also,
deontic perspective. That has
no,
nothing to do with
I
utilitarianism.
don't think. I mean, was the Holocaust just killing? No, it was also torturing. There's more qualitative reasons, right? It wasn't just like the.
Is
I mean, if we
abortion
were,
torture?
I don't know if I'd say it's torture. No,
Oh, okay.
it's killing. It's the
It's
termination.
just the killing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the termination of a fetus. Yeah.
You don't think there's anything else other than just the termination that you'd say is morally wrong about it?
If we're talking about, well, which one? There's like two types of abortions, right? Mainly, you can either do one that's mechanical or, um, what's the other one? Chemical, right? So I don't know. Like, is there? I think it's pretty much just termination. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. So, I do believe it's just a termination of a pregnancy. But I was saying
Yeah.
from your perspective, what do you think? Because it sounds like if you're saying abortion is so demonstrable, it's not just the termination of a pregnancy, right?
Um, no, I think it is the termination. I think mass killing's pretty bad. I don't know.
Okay, okay. If mass killing's pretty bad, right? Well, then you
Yeah.
evaluate how bad they are based on the level of mass killing, right? Well, would you say
Um,
that there would be more killing specifically in the last 20 years of abortion in the United States?
Yeah, but like yeah, I would. It does have more killing than the Holocaust, but so does the the Ukrainian genocide than the Holocaust. But I wouldn't say the Ukrainian genocide was worse than the Holocaust because it's not
Okay.
just the total murder, right?
Okay. Okay. Well, then I'll ask you that question. well,
Yeah.
we can talk about specifically the Ukrainians that died. Right? Do you think the Ukrainians that died? Do you think abortion is worse than that?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Okay. All right. So then here, I'll ask you maybe an easier question to verify. If you
All
were
right.
in a burning building and
Yeah.
you could either save one newborn baby or you could save 100 zygotes that in the future would be human beings because they'd be implanted, and you know that for certain. Who would you
Mhm.
rather save? The one newborn
And
baby from burning alive, or the
and you're
100
saying
zygotes?
you're saying in this scenario, there's no difference in the qualification, right? Like there's nothing else. It's just that.
Well, it's 100 zygotes or one newborn baby in the burning
Okay.
building. Which would you rather save?
Based solely on moral value, I would save the zygotes. But if we're talking about like what they provide for society, I'd maybe change my mind. But it's only
What do you mean what they provide for society? I'm confused.
well, for instance, like you versus like I don't know some massive philanthropist provide differently to society, but y'all have the same moral value, right? Or like say there's a person who's going to cure cancer tomorrow, and you are in a burning building. I'm probably saving the person who cures cancer tomorrow, but that's not like me saying you're valued less.
Okay. So to clarify, if you talk about in a long-term sense, wouldn't the 100 people, if they were to exist in the long run, then in the future, wouldn't they provide more to society than one person?
I mean, maybe I guess.
So you'd rather save the 100 zygotes over
I mean,
the
in that
one?
case, I probably would. But
You'd save 100 zygotes over one. You let the one newborn baby.
if it was,
To clarify, you let the one newborn baby
yeah, I said
burn
that's-
alive in saving 100 single cell
if I could-
organisms.
yeah. If we're saying the zygotes mature to humans, yeah. I mean, I value them the same morally, right?
Really, you value them the same?
Already.
Okay, how about two zygotes or one newborn baby?
Two zygotes. I mean, yeah, more based off moral value, I would save the zygotes.
You'd save.
I mean, I don't really
Wait,
see-
no, hold up. You'd save two zygotes, two single cell organisms over a newborn baby. You let the newborn baby burn alive instead of saving them.
Yeah,
That's nuts, dude.
off moral value alone, yeah.
That's
it isn't.
quite literally despicable, dude. That's quite literally despicable. Dude, I just want to clarify. I just want to clarify. Two single cell organisms or one newborn baby that's like looking up at you, cute as.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
What makes a human morally valuable?
What makes a human morally valuable? Well, it's going to be their sentience, right? Their sentience alongside
Okay.
them being human.
That's kind of circular. You said alongside them being human.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, like
makes a
let me
human-
clarify. We're of a species that meets a particular threshold of rationality.
Okay, so it's something grounded in the rational nature, right?
Yeah, but like it's species related based upon a threshold of rationality within a certain species.
So like if someone is incapable of being rational, they are
No,
still
they're
they
still
have value.
granted the value because they're a part of the human species and they have the past or present and future subjective experience. Does it make sense?
So it's a conjunct of the two, right?
Yeah.
Is the conjunct contingent?
There's two
or
separate
quantitative?
conjuncts we're talking about.
Is the conjunct quantitative or contingent?
Clarify the difference between how you use the terms
All right, sure.
because I don't have
So
a distinction
contingent-
based on that.
Sure. So contingent. Sorry for the ambiguity. Contingent would be like they're interdependent. You have to have both to have moral
Yeah.
value. Quantitative would be that they're kind of a part of a whole, and you can have like half a moral value through this, and it's kind of quantitatively applied.
Okay. So I say that for the conjunct you need to have past or present and future. That's it. Does that make sense?
Okay. Okay. So if you're both not a human, and you're both not, I mean, you're both not a human, and you both don't have the subjective experiences, you're not morally valuable.
I would say that it wouldn't be granted as much value.
Is it so? Is there a percentage, or is it not like quantifiable?
It's probably not quantifiable. It's threshold based on intuition.
Okay, so the threshold based off intuition.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you rank like?
How do I rank? Like, are you saying
Oh, I'm
me?
sorry.
How do I rank other species comparative to humans? Is
Yeah,
that what
like,
you're saying?
wait, so is it like kind of like a
I'm
metric
confused
based
how this
off?
is relevant to the topic, man.
I'm just trying to figure out what you view as valuable.
Yeah, I'm confused why that. So you understand that why I view as valuable. We both have this distinction. Do you have this distinction as well? It's because of
What
the
do you mean
fact that the species meets a particular threshold of rationality. That's the distinction. That's it.
Okay.
That's why the human quality granted on top of the fact that they're sentient grants them more value. Not to say that
Yeah,
other
I'm not.
sentient beings have no value, because I do place value on other sentient beings.
Okay. But do other humans that aren't sentient have any value?
Other humans that are not sentient, you mean brain dead individuals? Like
Well, I mean,
we
yeah,
grant.
brain dead or fetuses or stuff you view as, do they have any value even if they are human?
Yeah, you could say that there's some value prescribed to them, right? In terms of like, for example, if they've existed prior, in terms of them being brain dead, right? Like, because obviously we'd say that their body should be treated a certain way, right? We don't think that you should be able to do terrible, disgusting things to people's bodies after they die.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's prescriptions in terms of that, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But
Can
like,
I,
but
can I
like,
ask
but
you?
like a but like a right to life in the same way. Like, it's not murder to pull the plug on an individual that's brain dead, and it's not murder to get an abortion in the first trimester or like any time prior to sentience for elective reasons
But
or any reason.
I have a quick question. Well, it's more of an example. So suppose we have fetuses and we, using some form of vector, remove their capabilities to ever become sentient, but we don't change anything else about their biological nature. So would you be okay with them coming to full maturity, like adult human without subjective experiences, and harvesting their organs for?
Oh, like harvesting their organs? No, I wouldn't be okay with this.
Why?
Yeah, I wouldn't be okay with this because I don't think that you should be able to treat dead bodies that way either.
You know, so you don't like. I mean, that's kind of like standard practice. I think like. I mean, a lot of times those people
Really?
when they
Like
die.
I mean,
Yeah, like,
I don't believe that people should be like their organs should be stripped out of their body without their consent.